Hello. I hear lots of people these days saying that the fundamental problem in our society is that we've become radically polarized. But I don't think that's it. I'm a conservative Republican, and some of my best friends are liberals. But seriously, for the 18 plus years that I've been working here at Susquehanna University, I have maintained friendships with people who are radically on the left. People who make Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez look like a moderate. Really. I don't think she has a giant poster of Che Guevara in her office. And not only have I maintained friendships, I've worked effectively with these folks on lots of projects. A few years ago, the advisor to the SU Democrats and I were assigned to work together on creating a university policy regarding political activism. And we did. And I think we did a damn good job. And as wonderful as I am, it's not just me. We've had one of our most conservative professors published together with one of our most left-wing professors. So political polarization may not be a great thing, but it's not the big problem. The problem isn't the folks on the left or the folks on the right. The problem is bigoted ideologues. What does that mean? First, what's a bigot? Well, here's a good definition. A person who is obstinately or intolerantly devoted to his or her own opinions and prejudices. Do you know anyone like that? I do. Often when we speak of a bigot, we're speaking of someone who is intolerant based on race, but it doesn't have to be. I've known plenty of people with bigoted attitudes toward the poor, or the wealthy, or Catholics, or Jews, or Mormons, or rednecks, or college professors, and of course, the political other. And truthfully, we all have some bigoted attitudes towards certain groups. Second, what's an ideologue? It's been defined as an often blindly partisan advocate or adherent of a particular ideology. Okay, not quite putting the word in its own definition, but close. Thanks, Merriam-Webster. So, what is an ideology? An ideology is a manner or the content of thinking characteristic of an individual, group, or culture, or the integrated assertions, theories, and aims that constitute a socio-political program, or a systematic body of concepts, especially about human life or culture. So, what do we have? A bigoted ideologue is someone who is utterly, blindly, and stubbornly committed to a socio-political view of the world and who views those who do not share that perspective as intolerable, even while not understanding the perspective of those others. That's a mouthful, so let me say it again. A bigoted ideologue is someone who is utterly, blindly, and stubbornly committed to a socio-political view of the world and who views those who do not share that perspective as intolerable, even while not understanding the perspective of those others. Do you know any people like that? I do. I even made a list of the bigoted ideologues that I know and printed it out. I don't know if you know any of these people, but that's not really important. Folks like this can be on the right or the left, or some other kooky perspective. It doesn't matter. The problem with such people isn't simply that they're annoying, which they often are. The problem isn't that they're stubborn, which is true. The problem is not that they fill up our Facebook feeds with crap, which they do. And the problem is not that they're wrong, which the ones who disagree with me are. The biggest reasons they're a problem is that bigoted ideologues often don't believe everyone should play by the same rules. These folks are so convinced that they are right in their views, that others are so deplorably wrong, and that their program is so virtuous that they feel justified in breaking the rules in order to ensure the victory of their agenda. Now, decent people know you shouldn't tell lies about others. It's even in the 10 Commandments. But if I have to misrepresent the facts, exaggerate a few things, ignore a few key details, or misquote someone to get my party elected, or that guy confirmed or not confirmed to the Supreme Court, so be it. Related to that, if I have to twist someone's words and intentions to make her look bad, Even though I know that that's not really what she meant when she said that, I'll still do it for the sake of the cause. Now, decent people don't destroy other people's property. But when so much is at stake and my view is the right one, then maybe we need to burn some things down to get everyone's attention. Or maybe we need to burn things down and blame it on the other side so everyone will know that they're actually the bad guys and take our side. As soon as you are so sure that you're on the side of the angels, that you don't have to play by the same rules as everyone else, things are about to fall apart. As many of you know from history, that approach leads to endless bloodshed. Anyone remember the 30 Years' War? Now, one of the great principles of the Enlightenment, in my opinion, was Immanuel Kant's first formulation of the categorical imperative. Act in such a way that the maxim of your action could be willed as universal law. Or, if you'd prefer, don't make exceptions for yourself. Not that Kant was the first to realize this basic principle. He just fine-tuned its formulation. Remember the golden rule? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And the silver rule? Don't do unto others as you would not have done unto you. These have been positively directing human behavior for millennia. And you know who taught the golden rule? Jesus. Jesus haters. But the bigoted ideologue often believes that the rules can be set aside for him or her. That is when the center cannot hold and things fall apart. That's a very dangerous philosophy. So, how can you spot one of these bigoted ideologues, even in the mirror? Jeff Klein. Well, here are a few tips to spotting them. If you're absolutely sure you're right about a political issue, but can't articulate the other side's position, you just might be a bigoted ideologue. If your exposure to the positions of the other side only come from folks on your side, you just might be a bigoted ideologue. If you think the other side holds a position because they hate poor people, or any group of people, you just might be a bigoted ideologue. If you often use the word fascist or socialist, but can't actually provide a definition of that word, you just might be a bigoted ideologue. If you have no friends on the other side of the aisle, and extra points if you're also unwilling to have any, you just might be a bigoted ideologue. If all the news you follow is about nothing other than how awful and dangerous the other side is, you just might be a bigoted ideologue. If you hit your brakes before your turn signal, you may not be a bigoted ideologue, but you're annoying, so stop it. So, now that we know how to spot them, what do we do with them? Two things. First, don't trust them. They may be right. They may be on the same side you are. They may even be nice people, but they're not trustworthy. They're not critical thinkers who understand both sides of an issue. Ideologues flock to echo chambers and partisan news sources that simply confirm their biases. And many, as we've seen, have no trouble playing fast and loose with the facts. Second, demand that they play by the same rules as everyone else. This may require you to point out that they would not accept the same behavior from those of different opinions. And if that doesn't work, you should point out that they are trusting in a utilitarian calculus that could bite them in the butt. That is, they believe their ends justify their means. But many times, people don't get the ends they're expecting. And if that doesn't work, you need to be clear about your own rejection of such an ethic. The final thing we all need to acknowledge is that all of us have tendencies toward being bigoted ideologues, even me. And there was a time in my life that lasted far longer than it should have, when I had a mindset of, if you're not with me, you're my enemy. And while I've made progress, I recognize this drive is always there in my psyche. And I suspect it is for a lot of us. So we need to keep an eye on ourselves as well. When you're only reading media that supports your side, stop it. When you find yourself parroting slogans rather than thinking through the issues, stop it. When you use most of your time together with similar people to bitch about those others, stop it. When you hit the brakes before the turn signal, Stop it. And most importantly, we need to expose ourselves to people and ideas that are different than our own, and not their worst representatives, but their best. That's how we counter bigoted ideologues in our lives, and maybe make a little bit of progress in ourselves and in our nation. And that's the real tea, as the kids say.